If you didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks. You're gambling with World War III.
For days now, whispers have been circulating within Donald Trump's inner circle about the future of Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. Some of Trump's closest advisors have suggested that Zelensky might need to step aside. But Ukrainian officials and analysts aren't so sure. In fact, they say that any change in the leadership would plunge the country into months of political limbo and require a long-sustained ceasefire before elections could be held in the war-torn nation. Basically, there's no easy way out, and Ukraine's Electoral Commission is facing some tough challenges. According to Serhiy Dubaevik, who's the deputy head of Ukraine's Electoral Commission, only about 3/4 of the country's polling stations are currently operable. Preparing for elections that meet international standards would take at least 6 months, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Ukraine's constitution mandates that if the president resigns, the speaker of the Ukrainian parliament automatically takes over until new elections can be held. It's not as simple as just calling a vote. And there's another massive hurdle, the martial law. Right now, Ukraine is under the martial law due to the ongoing war, which legally prohibits elections from taking place. So before any elections can happen, Ukraine would need a sustained ceasefire or peace agreement in place, something that doesn't seem to be in the immediate future. Talk about Zelensky's future has ramped up after some of Trump's top advisors hinted over the weekend that the Ukrainian president might not be the right leader to continue the fight. On Monday, US President Donald Trump responded to Zelensky's comments, where the Ukrainian leader said that the end of the war was very, very far away. Trump was quick to fire back, suggesting that the United States wouldn't tolerate such pessimism for much longer. However, there's still some confusion within the Trump administration itself. US Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, for example, publicly stated that Trump has no interest in pushing for Zelensky's removal. So it's unclear whether the rumblings about Ukrainian leadership changes are serious or just internal debate. Meanwhile, Zelensky, for his part, isn't exactly on board with the idea of stepping down. Speaking to reporters in London after the peace summit on Ukraine on Sunday, he made a cryptic statement about what it would take to remove him from office. He said, and I quote, "It's not enough to simply hold elections. You would have to prevent me from participating in them. You'll have to negotiate with me." Zelensky even suggested that he might consider resigning if Ukraine were to join the NATO, which is a move that the Trump administration has repeatedly ruled out. With a smile and a touch of defiance, he added that NATO membership would mean he would fulfill my mission and could walk away. Even if Zelensky's resignation were on the table, Ukraine faces a massive logistical challenge in organizing elections. Dubaevik stressed that the practical aspects of holding a free and fair vote are enormous. For one, the legal process to end martial law must happen first. Then there's a question of infrastructure. Right now, only 75% of polling stations are operational in Ukraine, and many of those are in areas still under occupation. Dubaevik and other Ukrainian officials suggest that a 6-month window for preparations is realistic to ensure that elections meet the international standards. While they could technically speed things up, doing so would risk the integrity of the entire process. And let's not forget the millions of Ukrainians abroad who would need to be given the opportunity to vote as well. Even more challenging is the situation for Ukraine's armed forces. Around 1 million Ukrainians are currently serving in the military, and many of them will not only want to vote but also potentially run for office. Organizing elections during a war is an absolute nightmare for any country, and Ukraine is no exception. Amid all of this, Russia continues to question Zelensky's legitimacy. Moscow has repeatedly used the talking point that Zelensky's mandate is weak during wartime, which is a sentiment that has found some resonance even in the White House, with officials suggesting that Zelensky's leadership may not be sustainable. But for Ukraine, holding elections is about more than just getting a new president. It's about maintaining the legitimacy of the state itself. In short, the debate over Zelensky's future is far from simple. Any leadership change would require major constitutional, legal, and logistical changes in Ukraine, none of which can be achieved without peace and stability. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian government remains committed to holding elections, but those elections, if they happen, will take time and a delicate balancing act to ensure that they meet the international standards. And while Zelensky remains defiant in the face of international pressure, the question of what happens next in Ukraine is still very much up in the air.